Oh, yes, I believe that,
Oh,
definitely.
and they knew it. However, I don't know if the triangles had to be like an isosceles triangle or had to be equal sides in width, or if they could be any size triangle.
Well,
They're relatively,
well,
close.
well, referring to some stuff I've done, because I did a lot of surveying when I worked for the highway department, it's much easier for a person to use a right triangle for references, and also you can use an equilateral triangle very easily. But when you get into isosceles triangles, it's very difficult to use them for references. But you can, but the math involved in it.
Well, I mean, all sides being equal is what I meant.
Right.
So that you went right to a center.
Oh yeah, if you have all sides equal, then you're working with an equilateral triangle.
Okay. But what I'm looking at is, if you can visualize this, 2 points, 2 markers, about 20 feet apart, and then the point about, let's say, I'm guessing at this, because I haven't measured them, 30 to 40, or 30, anyway, quite a bit more. Now, I don't know if this could be, I figure it's one of 2 things. Either it's a triangle, and we look to the center for whatever might be hidden there, if anything. Or it's a pointer, like a arrowhead. Because it is, narrow. Its sides are long. And I, wanted an opinion from someone like you to, go for it. If that was a pointer, and then if we should go beyond that, or look to the center. All I can think of, Tom, is either to look in the center of that 3-marker point, or use it as an arrow pointing with a long, narrow end, The longer side using that as the arrow point. Well, and do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, the Indians overall never really used triangles.
No.
So the thing is, if there's a triangle back there of any considerable accuracy of any kind, it could, like you say, it could refer to a point beyond there, but then it seems like there would be some kind of reference to that point in either measurements or in some kind of symbolic marks, that would give you an idea, how far you go. Otherwise, you look at a triangle also as an important point. A triangle's put on a rock, it's been used as a survey marker for centuries just to locate a point. That is the point, it could mean below, the reference. If you're,
these are 3 different locations, though, is what I mean.
Well, if you have 3 different, you mean you have 3 different locations with 3 triangles?
No, let me explain it this way. Then you get the full picture. There's a big boulder. Let's say a big monster boulder. Maybe it's an outcropping, it doesn't matter, or a boulder. And on top of the boulder are about, I didn't count them, and I'm going to do it this next trip, but there's 4 to 6, let's say, 8 to 10-inch rocks on top of the boulder. They're all different types of rocks and material. They are not inherent, or they're not part of anything. They are completely different types. And then on top of these 4 or 5 rocks that are 8 inches in diameter is a 200 to 300 pound boulder sitting. I mean, it would have taken 4 to 6 guys to have lifted it on there.
Mm-hmm.
It could not have fallen down the hill in any manner. It's in such a location.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's another one of those, 15 feet away. It's on another boulder or outcropping.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even part of the same one, outcropping. Whatever. And it has identical. It's identical. It's a 250 to 300 pound rock, again sitting on these 8 or 10, 12 inch small rocks above.
Mm-hmm.
Someone had to put them there. And it couldn't have been 2 or 3 people. It had to be 4 to 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's that type of thing. But whether, but let's assume that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're 20 feet apart. Now there's another one that is about 30 feet away. So that's what makes the triangle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I know what you're saying now.
Now, yes, okay.
I was going to ask you, did you get an azimuth of the triangle?
No, I didn't. I'm going to go in and do that.
See, in other words, if it's pointing a certain direction,
yes,
it'd be worthwhile to see what the azimuth of the triangle is. In other words, the long point.
Yes, I know which way it goes.
Yeah, what way it's pointing. Is it, pointing north, like it's pointing north, south, east, or west.
Right.
But what is going to interpret it for you? Could it be the same triangle that they're referring to on the stone maps?
Well, no, I don't even see that on the stone maps in any way, but it's something we ran into in our claim area. And my thinking is this, Tom, that, first of all, I never counted the rocks that are holding up, the small rocks, 12 inches in diameter, that are holding up the 200-300 pounders. I'm going to count those. If they both have, let's say, 5 or 6 in it, under it, holding it up, if they're equal, whatever the amount is, then my thinking was, well, I'll figure it as an arrow point, and figure each one of the rocks, let's say they're 5, would be 5 laras, or 5 steps, from the point to the location. Trying to figure anything I can. I'm second guessing. The other thing, if not, then either it is an arrow point pointing to the hillside, which is only 35 feet beyond the point itself, meaning dig right there, or right in the center of the triangle, because I know they triangulated from the early 1500s. And I have that many.
Oh, you're right. It goes back even further than that.
Well, I'm sure it does.
Bacon.
My doc, I see it, and I have the documents on it from then. So, but I just haven't had that much experience in this type of thing. And what else it might be, or I wanted to bounce it off of somebody. You're the only person I've called,
Well, my dad, Chuck, spent a lot of years back there looking.
Right.
And he had a theory, and I really don't care who knows it, but he really had a logical theory. Goldfield was a rich gold area, and Silver King was a rich silver area.
Right.
And he sincerely believed that the Spanish or the Mexicans, one or the other, mined those 2 sites, which there's plenty of evidence even almost today to support that hypothesis. And I think that what he really believed is they took their hand-cobbed rich ore into the mountains and smelted it down and cached it. And I think with the story of massacre, I think before they got it all out of there, possibly, and this is what my dad believed, they were all killed and it's stashed somewhere. And I believe that. See, now I don't believe all the other stories, Jesuit treasure and all this. I just don't believe it. It just don't fit. There's nothing to back it.
Right.
But this theory that he had, and he based on a lot of good things, because him and Fat Poor over on that east side of Bluff Springs Mountain, not right where you're at, but in that area, they found an old crevice up there with the old tin candle holders with, that they use in the mines and stuff like that. So they know that somebody was in there before the contemporary Anglos that come in here in the 1860s and 1850s. So that's what he based his theory on. I kind of, mentioned it, but the logic would fit now. If there is, see, I'm not looking in my own mind that there's a gold mine with a vein back there. There could be. Now, I'm not saying there isn't, but it seems logical that you'd want a safe place to work that ore. And going back and around Bluff Springs would be safe, believe it or not, because you can watch it from every direction, or in around any of that country. And they could hand cop the rich ore out, brought it back there, cached it, smelled it down, cached it, and they could have cached a lot of rich ore too. They could have buried 2 or 3 tons of hand cobbed ore.
Well, I don't know much about that, but I agree with it. I don't believe much in the Dutchman at all, never have. But
so what I'm coming to is, if they did that, then they're going to use symbols to locate it, to relocate it.
Right.
See, and that's what I'm saying, and a triangle was used by the Spanish a lot. They also, I don't know whether you've been down in Tucson any, and looked at some stuff down there, but you can look up the maps that they had down there, and even in Guadalajara. I've been down there and looked up maps.
Right.
And the symbols are there, what they utilized, and even triangulation is available on some of those old mining papers.
But those were almost always in the center, weren't they?
Right. Usually we're in the center. That showed basically their triangle was their monument hole where they dug, or their discovery hole.
Well, okay, then tell me this, Tom. If there's a triangle in this shape that I'm talking about, with 2 markers, 20 feet away, and the third one being like 30, or 40, whatever, 35, longer, have you ever seen one where then you go to the center of that? I mean, that's a triangle.
Have I ever seen one myself personally?
Well, no, I mean in your maps that you've seen, you say.
Where they refer to the center of the triangle?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there's been reference. Sometimes they'll have a dot in there, or a little X in there, or...
You mean the triangle only has to be a triangle? It doesn't matter...
Yeah. Sometimes they use the triangle just as a marker.
It does not have to be equal sides to that triangle.
Not necessarily, because you could...
That's what I didn't know.
Yeah, the thing is, say the triangle's 30, 40, 50, 60 feet, I don't care what it is, 20 or whatever, you could have a simple mathematical thing, which is on the stone maps. You could have a simple mathematical equation or something to locate the exact spot where it's at, because let's face it, Chuck, it's not going to be a big hole. They did not dig big holes.
Absolutely. You're one of the few people who ever said it, and I know that's true, and I've seen their drawings from Spain, and I know they went down and then over, and they were small holes.
If somebody shows you...
Because they're big monster holes, they're crazy.
Yeah, well, if they show you a tunnel that's 5 foot or 4'7" or 5'7", forget it, because it's not Mexican or Spanish. I've looked at too many of them. Unless they found ore bodies right on the surface, and then they went in big.
Exactly.
But they usually follow those veins and little mole holes. And I'll tell you, there's some honeycomb places down in Guadalajara, not Guanajuato, which is north of Mexico City. And the old mines there, if a man goes there and looks at that, it looks like gopher holes. That's just what they look like.
Right.
And they just did not move. They couldn't have, let's say they just did not move that much overburden, waste, or gain.
Right.
And if you're going to find something, it's going to be a damn small opening. I mean, 36 inches would be maximum, I think.
got a body to get through there, and that's just how they did it.
And they even made bellows out of leather, to pump air in.
Yeah, and being holes up the hill or whatever.
Yeah, and then they used little flat sled carts to haul out their ore.
Yep. All right.
And I've even, I went so far as to look into how they split rock with lime, and they take oak plugs, put them in, put lime, soak it, and that's how they split their rock.
Right.
Before they use black powder or anything.
Oh, I didn't know you found all that. That's, far outside of this area.
Well,
Area, but that's...
you wouldn't believe, Bob Corbin is probably one of the experts in this Spanish mining in the Southwest, but he just don't publicize it. That's his real hobby and love, is that kind of stuff.
All right. Well, that's great. Well, Tom, I appreciate visiting with you and your information.
Well,
And
I do. I must say, I sincerely wish you the best of luck. I mean, it's intriguing. I wouldn't discourage anybody,
I know you would.
Right. But
yeah. Well, anyway, Tom, the best in the new year to you.
all right, best to you too.
And I'll stop in and see you when we're down there next.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks a million for calling.
Take care.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, what's the approach you recommend on what we were talking about? Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Well, do you think they plan on Uncle Bob taking care of them? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. How long you been actually kind of helping him around? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 But really just running him around, that's been just this summer? Or? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you never know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But this whole thing about, maybe making that statue or some of this stuff or painting or something down the road is, would be possible in the near future. What? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, you mean do it for nothing? You know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but see, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it takes a little capital too. Well, where do you get the capital if you get a good artist to do it with you? You tell me that. I mean, sure, I don't know, $500 or $1,000 to get a good one. No, that's what I'm saying. And you think, wouldn't he love anything better than maybe a portrait standing, close-up type one, standing in, say, Hewitt's Canyon or Millsite Canyon or, yeah. mean a big portrait, you know, look at one of the things, you know, be about, and done, well, the thing is, there's two ways of doing it. You say he'll help you anyway. Well, why don't you just get him to provide the money for you to do it? Because you think it should be done. What? Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you can tell them you'd like to have it, and eventually you want to donate it to a museum or something to help build a legacy for you. Mm-hmm. 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 But that's something, you know, what I'm thinking is that's something we can move into right away, you know. First thing you'd have to ask me, and that can be done anytime, is, Bob, what about a portrait you left behind? I mean, why don't we get something done now before, you know, too long? That ain't nothing. He knows it. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, oh, I don't know. He didn't tell me so. You think he would? No. I ain't gonna say much. No. Well, his book is hard to come by. The one they sell, when you run across one, they're running about $65. That's what happened to the limited edition. And that's only been what? Well, he put it out in 49, so that's 59, 69, 79. It's 32 years old. Well, you know, something, if you do, I know somebody that can do it and do it right. And, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the trouble is you can't depend on somebody like that to finish something. Yeah, but the worst thing is you got to have about 25 to 30 settings to really do it right. And Bob ain't going to be able to set those for any length of time. So you're looking at 15 minutes a day every, well, say even an hour. So you're looking at an hour 20 times. You get a lot of people started, but they never finish. That's why you have to have, you know, somebody that's kind of professional. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you're going to do anything like that, and really think about it, you want to have known people do it. Not just, there. You know how many artists in Apache Junction? 4,000. I mean, that's how they, but what I'm saying is, I know somebody I think I could talk into doing it for a nominal fee that gets fantastic fees and has done people like Bruce Babbitt, DeGrazia, and stuff like that. Now, that's the kind of person you want. You don't, anything less than that, you're just, it's just a picture. But somebody comes in with credentials like that, have done commissions like that, that would impress Bob. And he know that everything is sincere. See, you go out here and we pick up somebody, sure, I know a lot of guys around here. I could say to you, hey, do a portrait, we can get them $600 to do it. Well, that ain't $600 today for painting ain't nothing. And that's the whole thing. And, it depends on how many settings and how much and what. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, see, I don't want to get involved in anything, though, that appears that would have any kind of collusion or anything like that. See, that's the thing that's the danger in all of this stuff. And that's why I say, if